Welcome back. We're back, everybody. I'm just here to show off this awesome mask that the costume shop staff made me. Check that bad boy out. Welcome, everybody, to Virtually Starlight. We've got a treat for you here tonight, and I'm just gonna let it all go forward. Real quick, just want to go ahead and add our friends over at The Usual Suspects have something super important going on over there via Zoom as well. So if you get a chance, go ahead and check out their stuff. That's being recorded. This is being recorded. So check out either whenever you want. It's always great to see the stuff live because you can always interact, and that's fantastic. Now, tonight, I'm Chris Brady. I'm the artistic director over at Starlight Theater. Hi. Tonight, I'm going to be handing it over to Joe Coots, the one, the only, the brains of the operation. So I'll be handing it over to him, and he's going to be talking to some Starlight alum that he kind of handpicked because, I don't know, he grooms them, he loves them. They're awesome. You're going to love it. You're going to hear some great classic Starlight stuff. So stick around for that. Ask them questions. We're going to pop them up on the screen, make them laugh, whatever you want to do. But for now, I'm going to let him introduce all of his guests. I am going to introduce you to the one, the only, Starlight alum, as well as national tours of the Full Monty and that other one, Kinky Boots. The friend of everyone, Joe Coots, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Chris Brady.
There he is.
I love you.
You're so handsome.
You've got good vision. I totally agree with you. What? You're handsome. Look at that mustache. Holy hats. It gets better every week.
I've been at the beginning, so
yeah.
Yeah, Aaron tells me
you got working your Sam Elliott impersonation.
I know. That's when I comb it down, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody online right now, I encourage you, go ahead and type in the comments. We'll do things like smack this up there, and we go, howdy, everyone. Well, howdy right back at you, Matt White. Good to see you.
Thomas White.
Matt Thomas White. I'm going to let you go ahead and take the night, Joe, because you're awesome. But why these people specifically?
Well, it's a great question. I don't like any of it. No, I'm just kidding. These people, and there's bazillions that we could bring in, and we just don't have enough space or time or whatever. But these people, I think, from when I came to Starlight, they were instrumental in welcoming me. And with Tammy and Carla, they emphasize, and they're the epitome of what community theater is all about. It's the community. They're best friends. I believe they met at Starlight or something close to that. They're every season out there. They never complain. They're just awesome. They're professionals. They're just awesome. The O'Dierno brothers, Eric and Angelo, if you don't know, I started off doing tech theater. I was in college at Rock Valley playing football and needed a summer job. Coach sent me over to Starlight, and those guys took me under their wing. And really looked up to them. They're mentors of me, and they're the best. And then Todd Bonzi was the first guy I ever saw do anything theater-wise. Being a kid from Winnebago, I was never exposed to any of that kind of stuff. So I saw Todd do Cotton Patch Gospel, and it was mesmerizing to me. It was amazing. And that's when I decided I wanted to stick around this little place called the theater, thanks to Todd. So now that I do it for a living, I have all you guys to thank. We're in a worldwide pandemic, and because of your inspiration, now I'm unemployed sitting here in Winnebago with nothing going on. Worldwide pandemic. I don't know if you heard about coronavirus. Shut everything down. But yeah.
I would like to point out, while it's just me and Coots real quick, he and I kind of brainstormed this.
Right.
This Virtual Starlight. We were the first, out of everybody, he was the first one to kind of approach and be like, we should do this. And I was like, we still have a season, and then we didn't. So
yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna take off because we all are here to see a ton of different cool people, and I'm excited for this. This is gonna be a good night. So I'm gonna leave, and you can introduce them one by one, Joe, and we'll just pop them up on the thing. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You got it.
Have fun. Talk to
not
him.
a problem.
Later on. Joe. You're still here.
Who's our first one? Hi, everybody. Am I looking in the camera?
You're looking good. Oh, you're always looking good, Joe.
Eric O'Dierno, my Odie Bear. My Odie Bear.
How you doing?
Eric, how are you? Where are you?
I am in Orlando, Florida right now.
Wow, how was that?
Warm, very, very warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many? When you go to Disney World, how many Mickey Mouses are there?
One.
Just one. Okay.
Just one.
That's a busy Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, pixie dust gets you around. Boom, boom. You're here. You're there.
I love you, buddy. It's good seeing you.
Good to see you.
Before we get into too much, and we have stories about pianos, foam pianos, and real pianos.
Yeah, we do.
We'll get into that later. But real quick, you came to Starlight. How did it all come about for you? I know you're a college kid.
Yeah, well, actually, I first started going to Starlight. Actually, I want to say it was the '86 season, and I just saw Kathy Stevens pop up. Hi, Kathy. But it is because of Jerry Stevens, actually, that I maintained going to Starlight, because I got to see a production with my brother, who you'll be talking to later. It was a production of 1776, and Jerry played John Adams. And even though I lived in small town Wisconsin, about 45 minutes to an hour away, I drove down, I want to say, about 8 times to see that show. And I was hooked right there. And then, of course, you met me, 2 years later, I think, or 3 years later.
Well, more than that, somewhere. Did you start off on stage or in the crew?
Initially, my very first season there, I was actually on stage as well as on the crew.
What was that first show?
The first show was Student Prince.
Oh.
Was the very first show that I worked on. I was in the chorus of Student Prince. And, and then right after that was Jesus Christ Superstar, where I played Simon in that one. And then the next year after that was helping Angelo doing the lighting. Of course, he designed it. He told me, point this here, and I pointed. You know how that worked. And then props. I did props for years. Which is, of course, where we come into the story of the giant piano. Should we tell it now?
Let's tell it later. I want to see the reaction of Angelo.
Yes, absolutely.
But we'll get to that in a second.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. How are you? Hey, Carm.
And Carm.
Oh, this is awesome. Wow. I know all the Joe knows this is my favorite, because I'm seeing all these beautiful names pop up, and I miss you all.
Beautiful names for beautiful people. Absolutely.
Beautiful people, yeah. All right, Chris, who do we got next?
Yes!
Bonzi, you old son of a gun.
There he is. Actually, real quick, Todd, you were also in that production of 1776. You played Thomas Jefferson, and I don't know why. Maybe it was you had boots on or whatever, but I thought you were like 7.5 feet tall.
He was. He shrunk. He shrunk in years.
And then we did Evita together, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's like 3 inches taller than me. How's this? Oh, wow.
I think hilarious. I lost 120 pounds during that show because we wore wigs and costumes in 110-degree weather. But, that's Starlight.
It's awful.
It was.
That's Starlight. But, Todd, I always messed with you. We became really good friends over the years. But that year I was 19 or 18 probably, playing college football at Rock Valley, and then I went and saw Cotton Patch Gospel, and I was hooked. Watching you perform, your voice, you were just amazing. So I really wanted to thank you for getting the bug into my system. You were the guy. You're the man.
Hero, man. You were
but
a great guy.
You and Todd Kisner. Hopefully we get in later, and it was just that whole production. And I remember you had a party. We went to it, and I was so excited. Oh my God, Todd Bonzi's house. I was like, legendary. So I really appreciate you. How are you doing? What are you doing? Are you in Rockford?
I am born and raised here, still in Rockford, but not forever.
Not forever.
No. Ooh, we got a scoop?
We got a scoop?
Huh? No scoop. Just want to get out at some point, I
don't blame you.
Ben's getting married. We were supposed to get married in October, but that isn't happening now because of COVID. But he's getting married next year now. And Sam is working on her theater career, and which, as you know, is on hold right now.
Yeah.
So as soon as all those things kind of happen, we're looking at moving someplace.
I remember you had when you first had Ben, or maybe you had Ben after I met you, but I think it was Christine or one of the Elaines called Bouncing Baby Ben, or what was his little nickname? He was like that. He was like his little towhead just bouncing around. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, and when Angelo's on, I was going to bring something up with Ben because he wouldn't be here without him. So.
Well, why don't we bring in Angelo?
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait, yeah. What are you going to tell us?
Angelo.
Angelo.
It wasn't
I
me.
knew you looked like Ben.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Angelo O'Dierno, my friend.
What
Hi,
does Lori
sorry.
Povich say about this?
How are
Sorry,
you?
sorry for the technical glitch.
You're the
Yeah.
father. Oh, my gosh. How you doing, Ange?
Whew. All right.
Where are you?
Holding up.
Texas?
I'm in Amarillo, Texas. I teach now at West Texas A&M down in Canyon, about 20 minutes away.
Wow.
Teaching scenery and lighting design.
How, is it warm down there?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it was in the hundreds past couple of days, but now we're at a nice 92, I think.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
No
So did
humidity.
Yeah, no, God. I live in LA for 8 years, and I
Yep.
come back here in
92.
New York, and the humidity just like.
Ugh, yeah.
So, Ange, when did you come to Starlight?
I had to look it up. I had to pull my CV. I started Starlight as a master electrician back in 1986, and then from 87 to 2005, I was the lighting designer except for 1.5 years. Peter McMasters covered 1 year while I had to finish my senior seminars in undergrad. And then the year following, he and I split a year. And then in 90, that part I don't quite remember off the top of my head. And then roughly in 95, 96, I came on full-time as the tech director as well. So until 2005.
And that when you were the TD, that was like just straight 9 to 5 job, just easy hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just
Nothing.
show up in the
Nothing to it.
morning, out of there by 4
just-
or 5 in the afternoon.
Oh, heck yeah.
Had
Yeah, we just got up. It's no
Yeah.
problem.
Had happy hour by 5, in bed by 7. Yeah, I remember.
Well, at least that's what the actors did. I didn't get that.
Oh,
option.
hey now.
Well,
I remember doing building sets all day,
Building sets
and
at
then doing shows
7:30
at
in the
night,
morning.
and then doing
Going
shows all
until
night.
5 o'clock. Getting a 30-minute dinner break. Coming back for
beefaroo.
rehearsals.
yep.
Doing the rehearsals. And then we had to blow off steam. That's when we went to Club Vertigo and all that fun stuff.
Exactly. That's when I was building light cues at night. And then you'd all come back and pop in and
Right.
tell me how great it was. And then you'd go
Yeah.
to bed.
We're we're there to support you.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Hey,
It was
Joe
awesome.
and I
One
were
of those-
always there to lend a hand if you needed a body on that stage. You know that.
Yes.
I'm not arguing. You've also were able to lend a hand to teach me how physics and keys worked. So
I was just
Joe
about to-
remembers this.
Yes, Eric picked up Angelo one time and started windmilling him. And Angelo had a key thing that was like a keychain on his belt. And then I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to kill this dude. And his keychain kept on growing. And he had like 85 keys at the end.
Hey,
of it.
yeah, he had like 85 pounds of keys. What
I
are you
wasn't
talking about?
allowed to have a master. So
Yes.
I had, yeah.
So they went, and Eric and that keychain came by and just about killed my guy.
Smacked him right in the head.
Smacked
Yep.
him right in the head.
Dropped like a rock.
Oh,
Yeah.
We got stories. This is going to take, we only have an hour limit, but hell, we
Yeah,
can do this
keep
for
going.
3
Bring
hours.
in more people.
All right, bring in those 2 smoking hot girls.
There you go.
Ha.
There she is.
Hey, y'all.
There she is.
What's
Hey, yo.
up,
Hello.
my
Cheers.
girls? That's like a
Hey.
fine wine. Fine wine, better with age. Looking good.
Carla's already had her wine,
Yeah.
so watch out.
Oh gosh,
That's
pour
good.
another one. Pour
Nothing
another
wrong
one.
with that.
So you guys, I saw your dance tutorial the other day. Phenomenal.
I
Looking
missed
good.
your submission, by the way, Cootsie.
Yeah, I don't dance that well. I don't dance that well.
I
I could
bet
have. Yeah. How So when I was watching it, did you guys meet at Starlight? Were you friends before?
No, Carla, tell the story.
Tell the story, Carla.
We met at doing Kiss Me Kate. We were both in the
Yeah,
chorus at Kiss Me Kate, and it was really a fun show, a lot of chorus stuff. And we were pretty good then, pretty serious about what we're doing until, we got to know each other very well. And then that all ended. Right, Tammy?
It went downhill from there.
It went downhill from there. Yeah. And then when the next year, Tammy we did Meet Me in St. Louis, but Tammy had her girls, so we had to behave. We had to behave.
Cootsy saved Z. Remember? Cootsy?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
He's 32 now. So, do you feel old?
Wow. That's crazy. I'm only 34. That's weird.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Wow. How are those girls doing?
Girls are good. 2 grandkids, maybe one on the way. We don't know. We're working on that, so we'll see.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently Angelo knows how to make babies with.
Yeah.
Bonzi.
Yeah, we didn't get that
What did I
story.
do, Todd?
What the heck?
Yeah.
What's that story about?
So I think it was Joseph, wasn't it?
Yes.
And yeah, and Ben was young. He was cast, and we had to pull him out because he wouldn't shut up and wouldn't stand still. And so it was like after rehearsal, I think, and he was climbing up someplace on a platform that wasn't finished, and he would have fallen basically to his death. And I'm talking to somebody, paying no attention to my children, and Angelo was racing up and saving Ben from falling, and he just brought him back down and said, "Oh, here you go." Like, oh my God, thank you, Angelo. So
You're a hero.
the reason that Ben is still alive.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
It was an interesting day. For those that may remember, back when there was just the rubber roof arch unit, we had physical walls, and we were just building the spotlight platforms, and the stairway went up, but there was no platform, and Ben had decided that's where he was going to climb. Yeah.
I don't blame him. Sounds like fun. Carla, how's your family doing?
They're good. You see my daughter there. She did let's see, what's the last show of this season? Hello Dolly. She and I did Hello Dolly, and my son and I and my daughter did Oliver. And a lot of people, Jody, Wendy, Kisner, there are a ton of people were in that show, but she's really good. And my son is out in San Diego, working through COVID, doing great. They're great. Thank you for asking.
That's awesome. How's Big Ed?
Big Ed, he's doing good. We're trying to wind down, trying to get him to quit shucking those teeth out, man.
Oh man.
Trying to get him to retire, Cootsy.
I can take it over for him. I'll just knock it right
You
out.
could. Just
Yeah.
sit down and start yanking him out. No big
Do
deal.
you still see dogs that are showing off?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, inside story. All right, so let me. Chris gave me some notes here. So because he is the boss, I want to try to stick with him a little bit. Not that I really care, but whatever.
Well, when you're Joe Coots, you don't have to care.
This is good. True
It's
words,
your
so
world.
spoken.
We're just living in it.
Chris goes, no need, Joe. Well, the one question I really love, but we'll get to that later. Let's go around the horn here. What's some of the great story that you had, fun stories? Maybe Eric, this is a good time to speak about pianos.
Okay, yeah.
And then we'll go around the horn.
All right, so just a personal observation for those of you who may not have physically worked with Joe Coots. He is a mountain of a man. So one weekend, I want to say it was one of the Saturday or Sunday rehearsals that we had for City of Angels. The director, Mike, wanted a piano on stage. It was one of the years that we had the old turntable that up until Ozzy got the right winch system in there or whatever, it kept breaking down on us. And Joe and I used to push that. But one of these rehearsals, Mike had mentioned just, earlier that morning, he said, hey, I really need a piano up on stage for the, I guess it was the dinner scene or whatever, the party scene for City of Angels. And I'm backstage. I was props master that year. I'm doing all my stuff. And all of a sudden I hear Mike going, I wonder if Eric got that piano up there. And of course I'm going, oh, no, the piano's not up there. Well, this is the old theater. So we had these two very, very steep wooden steps that went up the back of the theater and on stage.
Oh, yeah.
So I grabbed Joe, I grabbed Brian Moraski, and I said, guys, we got to get this piano upstairs. Joe goes, yeah, sure, we'll just roll it around the sidewalk. I said, no, you don't understand. Mike can't see it get upstairs.
Mike was going to have his ass.
Mike was not going to be happy with me if that piano wasn't there. So, just to give you an idea, I'm not a small guy. You know, I'm wide at the shoulders, wide in general. But Brian Moraski and I took half of the piano. Joe took the other half of the piano. We went up the stairs. Literally took a piano up the stairs, and then you remember there was that big railing about 3 feet off the ground, the big metal railing, and we're up there, and Brian and I, we couldn't muscle that thing up over. Joe goes, step back. Joe, alone, literally picks up a piano 3.5 feet up in the air, walks 5 feet forward, and sets it down on the stage.
Hey.
That wasn't the best part. The best part was about 10 minutes later when it was that scene, and the piano was on stage, the stage rotates, and I hear the director, Mike, going, how the heck did that get on there? And I'm going, thank you, Joe, thank you.
And
Mike
you
was
hit
happy.
Bill?
That was the best part. Mike was happy.
Yeah, he was happy. That's all we care about. Didn't you also build like a foam piano?
Well, yeah, I hadn't built it yet. Okay,
that's what it was.
The alternative was an entire foam piano made out of styrofoam. It was the foam way that was made, and yeah, that one I could lift. I could spin that around like Joe was doing with the real one, but that one only weighed like 40 pounds. We had a problem one night.
Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, we had a problem one night with the weather during a performance because a storm had blown through and it was a little windy. And poor Brad Kisner, I believe, was the guy playing the piano at the time. He literally, instead of playing the piano, was holding the piano in place because the wind it was only foam. It was just blowing all over the place. So he was holding it down during the party scene when he's supposed to be like tickling the ivories and doing all this. He's like holding it tight. But it was amazing.
Eric, didn't we have with that Revolve? I remember helping Ozzy Webb, who's a genius, build that Revolve all in tube steel, right?
Yeah.
And then was it during Meet Me St. Louis where it clang, clang, clang with the trolley and Jody Beach out there singing her face off?
She's
and it was like clunk,
yeah.
clunk, clunk with the trolley, and I was in the front. We got off that thing, we just started moving it.
Yeah.
We moved it around, and we came back around, and we got an applause.
Yeah. We ended up. I think that was the summer we got the nicknames Briggs and Stratton.
Briggs and Stratton, yeah. And we wanted to smoke cigars as we were pushing. But
we got in trouble for that one. Don't mention that one.
Yeah.
No,
He raced. All right, Bonzi, you're up, baby.
I got 3 quick ones. First of all, I can remember dancing backstage with Eric during City of Angels when I wasn't on stage, if you can remember that.
Yep.
Always, of course, ready to be back on stage in time, except for the one time I left Craig Ramone out there for about 10 minutes.
Yep. Because we were dancing.
He was fine,
He was orange. He was orange.
He was a master of the ad lib. He had it down. It was no problem at all.
You all know my lovely wife Michelle, who actually started out at Starlight before me, which is
it was also in 1776.
What's that?
She was also in 1776.
Yeah.
My wife?
Wow.
Wasn't she?
No.
Maybe his first wife. His first
wife.
wife.
Must have been the first wife.
No, she started the year before
Carla,
me with Fiddler and Barnum.
Eric, you're in timeout.
When she was in music, when we were in Music Man, that was the summer that we stage managed also. And so she was backstage, and one of her big things that she had to do was take care of the horse. And every single show before, what is it called? Wells Fargo Wagon, the horse would pee all over her backstage every single night. And we're not talking a couple drops of urine. We're talking.
Horses are well known for their small amount of pee.
And then my last one is, if you remember back to Camelot, and I got to play Merlin, and I had the fantastic feather coat and the lovely little staff that was really cool. And I would say some spell that I don't remember now, and I'd flick a little switch, and Tobin had it set up that the flame would come up on the little staff, which was really cool, except when the flame jumped out of the staff and onto my feather coat. And my whole arm was on fire, and I didn't know it as I was walking off stage.
Bonzi, do you remember in Greece you were playing the Teen Angel, and you would come back, and we'd be at the bottom of the steps doing interesting things to you?
Yeah, I'd be having this
Chris Brady, myself.
Dropout, and Mike had me walking all around the set and, magically disappear and come back. And the one spot was I'd have to go backstage singing, and there were the T-Birds bent over, spanking each other, and I had to sing at the same time without laughing. And it was always somebody new and somebody different every night.
Or your wife showing her.
Okay, hey, PG.
Yeah.
Family show.
Family show my butt. Oh, that's hilarious. Angelo, okay, so you got to correct me on something, buddy.
Sure.
You were always, I would call you Angelo because you were my boss. But then some people call you Gilo, right? But now you're going by Guido?
Yep.
What happened?
There's only one person who really called him Gilo.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Eric.
Oh.
Let me explain. When I was little, at home, when I was growing up, my grandpa's name was Angelo. I had an uncle named Angelo, and I was an Angelo. So my mom looked at me one day and said, fine, he'll be Gilo. And Gilo, or Gilo, is the Italian nickname for Angelo. So my family will call me Gilo. And then when I got into high school, some friends of my brother's, I was a freshman, said, hey, you want to be a priest, don't you? And I went, yeah, that was the game plan until the red-haired girl came by. Anyway, I was planning on being a priest.
And the blonde, and the
anyway, so they said, fine, you're Father Guido, because Father Guido Sarducci was a big comic act at the time on Saturday Night Live. And then when I got to college, the priesthood fell away, but Guido stuck. I got to Starlight because it was Mike's first year, or possibly just his second, managing the whole thing. And he brought down two friends of his from grad school who happened to both be my professor. Jeff Entwistle was designing scenery that summer, and Ray Gabica was doing costuming. This would have been the summer of Barnum and Fiddler on the Roof that season. And so with Jeff and Ray being there the whole time, that's how Guido just kind of stuck and came with me. So yeah, and then I went off to grad school and kind of lost the Guido, but that's a story we don't need to get into right now. It's a happy event. So there.
That's awesome. Do you have any fun stories from Starlight besides getting keys whipped at your head?
Well, I mean, good heavens. My problem is that my stories are all over the place. I mean, I see what people don't understand is that when you're doing tech, you see backstage, you see the stage, you see all these aspects. I got stories from all different areas.
And you hear them too.
Huh?
And you hear them too.
Oh, you hear a lot when they don't see you're there because you're still up in the catwalk or the wrap or the truss or whatever. Gosh, I was reminded today of a couple of scenic events, and one that I'll probably repeat later. And this goes way back during King and I, when it's first dress for King and I, or second possibly, and everybody is in the classic, very thin Siam clothing, and Miss Dean Marshall's up there with his lack of hair and his exposed chest, and it starts to snow. And
serious?
Yes, and
it did.
It snowed during a cast, or the strikes when because for a while there Dean was the TD, and there were the strikes where when Dean started moving, he would just steam. Literally steam would pour off of him. And then for folks, because you all can tell the theater stories for the stage, but I know there are folks that also work backstage and may remember when Byrne Sunstead came in for a while, and everybody got to know Rafi and Baby Beluga and all. and all those
Play all
tunes.
those songs.
You bet. And there are so many wonderful memories. To isolate one or
know,
two
yeah.
doesn't work. I mean, you have Tammy and Carla here, the two great
think of
ladies
100.
of Starlight. I mean,
They
good
got
heavens.
plenty of stories.
I
Sure,
remember,
they got.
quiet right now, but they got plenty.
Remember Vern Stunts said he was wearing a hat, and it was hotter than heck, and he was wearing sleeves all the way down. We're out there.
Yeah.
Angelo's bossing us around, and Vern would take off his hat. He was the only could tell if a hat's broke in if it smells. Smell the hat? Broke in. Put it back. This guy like got his degree in drama from Yale School of Drama.
Oh, yeah.
Friends with James Earl Jones and all these guys.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, it's good to go.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
good.
All right, my little lovies. On to you, girls. Tammy, what do you got for me?
I got so much, I don't know where to start. A lot of it involves the infamous Eric. Hey,
What?
Koozie, though, we were trying to figure out the first show when Carla and I met you. Were you working backstage for Lend Me a Tenor?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Who?
No, that
when-
was
My first year
yeah,
was
during the studio.
Starlight, and that was the Starlight backstage when we did City of Angels and
Joseph.
something else. Joseph. No, not Joseph. I was in Joseph.
And
Yeah,
you were.
backstage.
Oh yeah.
Backstage.
Maybe
Yeah.
Wasn't it West Side Story and City of Angels? And
No, it
then
was Rags. It was
Rags.
Rags, City of Angels,
Right.
and something else.
Into the Woods? I don't know. It was during that unit set.
I don't know.
Oh,
Something
but then
like that.
there's, if Gary Woodson's out there,
Oh, he's watching because I got a story about him.
Gary,
the whole, from City of Angels.
damn thing was placed wrong. It was built fine.
I'm sorry, for those that missed it, Gary happened to be in a iron lung. And this set starts to rotate, and there's no way to stop it. You can see it gonna happen. You're shouting on the headset, and yeah, it didn't stay horizontal.
No.
And then poor Gary was a trooper. And
No, I ran out there.
Two teeth?
I ran out there and tackled it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I went out there and shouldered the bottom of the iron lung and knocked
right.
it.
yeah. Because
I thought he was going to
Because
die.
it was Joe and I that lifted it back up, and
Gary in it.
yeah, unfortunately, because of where his head was, I think he lost 2 teeth. It was terrible. But
It's
every
a
time I see
recurring
him, he's
theme,
like,
you
"You saved my
know.
life."
I'm-
You ever guys
well,
ever wonder?
it was because the when the stage was rotating, just enough of the iron lung was sticking out, and they had a wall that came out.
Yep.
And just enough of it was sticking out that it clipped it, and when it clipped it, it just boom, down it went.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I'm sorry,
was
I
terrible.
interrupted Tammy and
Really?
Carla. So
You ever wondered? I just asked you guys to pick things up. You know that, right?
Nope.
You ever wonder that, Eric and Koozie?
What's that?
You're just like the meat. You were just there to like save babies and
Yeah, Briggs and
pick
Stratton.
up
Yeah.
iron lungs, and pick up pianos.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Well, no, I have a really good story about Eric. Can I tell the story now?
Yeah,
Can I tell Eric's story?
yeah. Tell it all, whatever you want.
Angela, you know which one I'm talking about.
I'm really happy
okay,
that
there's
she's
lots-
not.
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of fun things that happen during shows, but there are also a lot of fun things that happen after shows. And we were not bad. We were not naughty. We just would go out and stay out late. And
Blow off steam.
we were, I don't know what show it was. Eric, do you remember what show it was? All I remember is it was really hot night.
I want to say it was actually Pirates of the Caribbean.
No.
Seven Brides?
Or seven,
Because
Seven Brides,
Dan-
maybe.
because Dan,
No,
no,
because Tammy and I weren't in that.
Yeah, we weren't,
No.
but
No.
but
That
there was
summer,
a
maybe?
bar
What else
on
was that
North
summer?
2nd. What was the name of that bar? It was, you guys. this
Club
was-
blue
Vertigo.
suede shoes.
And blue suede shoes.
It was Blue Suede Shoes, and
Club
then they
Get-A-Ho.
changed it.
Yeah, Club
had,
Vertigo. Yeah.
Yes.
Get-A-Ho.
It had the stage that went up and down.
Yes, it had outdoor trampolines, and you could put this bungee belt on, and you could bounce on these trampolines. And you
I
know,
don't like that. I don't like how this is going, Tammy.
Yes. But, so
I do.
and I believe then we all came back to sit down and cool off a little bit because it was steamy hot. And Eric had his Sharpie, and he decided he was going to tattoo all of us. And he has it now, probably the same one, although that looks green.
No,
Is it green?
this was
Yours
green.
was black.
That one
I know
was
it
black.
Yeah. And so we all, men and women alike, whoever was in the group got a tattoo. Carla, did you get a tattoo that night?
I don't think so.
Well,
No.
anyway, I got one that said, if you can read this, you should be buying me a drink.
Yeah,
What other
that's not.
tattoos went out that night, Eric? Do you remember?
I'm sorry.
What other tattoos got put out that night? Do you remember?
Well, it wasn't. Yours wasn't exactly what was said. It was where it was.
Yes, and it was on my thigh, not my upper thigh, but definitely on my thigh. And so, anyway, he gave out many tattoos that night. I wasn't the only one to get a tattoo. However, we all went home. I went to bed, didn't think about it, didn't shower, was too tired. And so in the morning, I got up and in reverse on my bed sheet, written backwards was, if you can read this, you should be buying me a drink on the sheet. Ed was like, what is this? I don't remember if that was the night I got grounded or not, but
yeah.
It could have been a different night, but
there
were some really, really fun times. And with Angelo, too. Yeah, we would go to the Savoy and do the shuffleboard. Remember that little place?
Yeah.
So, yes, I could probably incriminate every single one of you.
The other one that I remember vividly from that night, I believe I mentioned it earlier before the show, was the one that I gave to Mike Gaskin, which actually, I'll just say it, because I was his roommate for a while. I was actually playing it conservative when I said size 14 with an arrow pointing down.
Keep rolling,
ladies. Just telling you now, Gaskin.
Huge feet.
Huge feet. Huge. I mean,
snowshoes.
Knock your socks off feet. Absolutely.
Oh, by the way, Gary Woodson said it was
5 teeth. Gary just said it was 5 teeth.
5 teeth, exactly.
5 teeth.
5 teeth.
And no rides at Disney have made you lose teeth, Gary.
No. Oh no, that's hilarious. Carla, what do you got for me?
Angelo and Tammy and I were all in Lend Me a Tenor in the Studio Theater. And that was just
so fun.
A wonderful experience. First of all, I had terrible time learning my lines and finally mastered the lines. Then I had to master the costume. The costume was quite scanty, and that was fine. I got over wearing the costume, but then my 2 kids were in the audience in the studio, which is, pretty close, and they said that was the most embarrassing thing to see their mother on stage dressed that way. So that was a great time, and plus because I had to be in my underwear, I got underwear for the whole cast as opening night gift. Yeah, I have a good picture of you and Mike, Angelo, with the underwear. So that was a really wonderful time. Also, as Coots and Bonzi mentioned, Cotton Patch was wonderful. Beautiful. That was actually
that was a good show.
Yeah, that was my first studio show, and it was really wonderful. It's a small cast, and we got really close and made some really, really wonderful friends. But of course, I have to also mention Cinderella. Tammy and I were the stepsisters, and it was Chris Brady's very first show at Starlight.
Rentschler.
Got her teeth in. Yeah.
Rentschler, you never look better.
Yeah, and just to add, because we talked about Gary Woodson, Woodson, she was the queen in the show, and we were backstage, and her nail got caught in a flat in the back, and she ripped off her nail in the back just before she went on to sing her song. She went out there, sang her song, did her thing, and then came out, and her finger was just bleeding. So those things are things you always remember, because we always come through for each other. We help each other, and the things that happen backstage or on stage, we just take care of each other. We always have, and we always will.
It's funny. We're sitting here in our group and all the people that we worked with back in the day. we were very, on the stage, we were all loose and happy and fun. But when the show was over, it was just about business and going home. And obviously, we're all like straight laced. Nobody would ever go to James K. Ponds and break a window.
No one ever put their butt through a window.
Through
No,
a window,
never.
No.
But
Never.
So those are all
There
fun
was no
stories.
moving in the parking lot.
well, but
No
Tammy,
voting, There's
Exactly,
no hot tub
Todd.
parties. There was none of that.
No.
Carla
But
brings
that's
up.
what makes it. That's what, to me, that's what makes it so much fun, because working, doing what I've done now, it's very rewarding, and it's professionally it's great, artistically. But I tell you what, my friends, being those years at Starlight are the best times I've ever had involved in any productions of anything, and it's because of people like you, and I really appreciate that. But we'll get that sappy shit in a minute.
Yeah, but I to piggyback on that, I really think that's something that is unique and wonderful about Starlight itself, is because
100%.
we are blessed in Rockford to have this community theater. It's a community theater,
100%.
but the level of production that they're able to put on can rival any regional theater out there.
Yeah,
It's astounding. And again, I've only been there and worked on productions in general from when Mike Webb was there. I haven't worked on anything since Chris Brady took over. But again, I haven't heard anything but amazing things about Starlight.
No, it's great.
And it's unique. I know of no other place in the world that does what Starlight does.
Well,
no, I totally agree.
As Carla put it, we look out for each other, because I can remember Lend Me a Tenor was my first show that I did in the studio, and I'm doing this lead, and if it wasn't for Tammy and Carla, I'd have been lost. I mean, they made sure I was where I need to be. They were just great. And it is a family aspect, and the nice thing about coming back for the past 2 seasons or so doing lighting at Starlight again is that family aspect is still there. The faces may change, but wow, yeah, they're still all there. So yeah, it's just been a wonderful experience, and everything has its ups and downs. But and for some reason, now that Carla mentions clothing and the lack thereof, I remember doing a play with Tammy where she played a character named Glug. Where she was just this dead body, and yet the character I played, we had apparently the two of us. It was written by
what show?
It was written by Mike Hazley. Bad Manners.
Yes.
Yeah. Just the name had run away because Bad Manners is also I think the name of a early Peter Jackson movie. Anyway, now that's bad taste. The scene happens, and I got cast with myself and Tony, and we come up over this rail.
Gapastone.
No, I think Tony's wrong. Bondic. Anyway, my apologies if he's watching. No, it wasn't Tony. Anyway, we come over the railing, and we have to strip to our underwear because we are standing outside. It's February. Getting soaked and poured in warm water to come on stage to take off all our clothes down to our underwear to then finish the scene in fine clothes. Bad Manners, thank you, Rob.
Marissa.
And the thing is, the weird part is that like 2 days later, after there was that moment in preview night where the class, the intro to theater class students are in the house, and there was a moment where I grabbed my belt and went, if I drop my pants, am I ever going to get to control these students again come next class? Well, I wasn't even thinking about it. 2 class periods later, they all reappeared and they'd all seen the show, and I was because in the studio you're on the stage, and I go to take my sweatshirt off because it was hot, and everybody shut up. They clammed up and said, "No, believe me, it's the only thing coming off. There's no more clothes." But
that's why you had a wait list for next semester for your class. I'm telling you right now, baby. That's why you had a wait list. Hey, we got about 20 or so here, 15, whatever. I want to go around the horn real quick and just tell me. We talked about all the fun stuff we've done off stage, but there's been, Eric alluded to it earlier about how magical Starlight is, production value wise, and what we all did on stage and favorite moments. And for me, I'll go real quick. For me, It was we were doing Crazy for You, which I'm supposed to be doing right now, which that didn't happen. But it started raining, and Mike, in his genius way, we moved us all up to the stage. All the audience comes up on stage, and we finished it off up there. And I'll never, ever, and I was 21 years old, I'll never, ever forget that moment as long as I live.
Doing it in the round.
Yes, it was just, and I've done theater recently in a round, and it's awesome. But that was so neat because people are just standing there, and some of them are half soaked, and we finished the whole end of the show, and it was just amazing. And then when I remember we did Children of Eden, and how powerful that show was, and Karen Keeler walking through and crying, and then I remember doing Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, not knowing what the hell I was doing. But I had guys like Eric and Doug and all those guys behind me support me, and so those are the things I thought was just absolutely amazing. So Bonzi, a lot of talk has been, and I never saw it because it was before me, but from what I've been told is one of the most historical moments in Starlight Theater history is when you and Kazi were singing "River in the Rain," and God looked down upon that little stage and dropped some tears down. Can you explain that to us? What that was like?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Kazi and I were doing the scene, and the weather was getting really bad, and we're like, well, nobody told us to stop, so we just kept going. And then before we know it, Mike's out on stage, and, Cance closes it up right at that moment. Everybody in the audience kind of went off to the sides. Nobody really left, and it was raining and getting nasty and everything, and it finally cleared up. And so we started it back up again, and we had stopped in the scene right when we were on the river. And it was right before the next song, which was "River in the Rain." And so we sat back down on the raft. The music started, and of course, the first lyric is "River in the Rain," and the whole audience just went nuts and applauded and cheered. And it was like, I don't know how we continued singing, but it was like one of those moments where, that's just live theater, and that just never happens like that. It was just amazing, and everybody just was thrilled with the experience because that's live theater.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, did it keep raining, or did you have to stop the show, or did it kind of stop after the song was over?
No, it rained before the song.
Yeah.
And poured, and that's why they had to stop it. But
stop. Oh,
after
okay.
That,
I thought it. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Tammy Rentschler, what do you got for me?
Oh man, Carla and I mean, we've had a few leads. Like Cinderella, we were kind of leads. Obviously, you guys know we aren't singers. We're in the chorus most of the time.
I disagree.
Wholeheartedly.
I know. I didn't want to show you guys up, but
I've seen you at JFK Nippons on the karaoke machine.
I've been holding back for 30 years, let me tell you. But I also think that being in the chorus gives you a unique perspective because, there's so many times Carla and I look at each other and we just get to watch you guys that have real jobs, except for you, Coots. Now you're a real theater person, but the rest of you did have just like real jobs, but so incredible.
You too, Angelo. Yeah.
And it's just, as a chorus person, we've had so much fun. One of the most fun things we had was when they didn't have enough boys and guys and dolls to do the crapshoot.
Oh,
you remember that?
Right.
Crapshoot ballet.
Do you remember that, Bonds? You remember that? And we dressed up in men's suits and we were in that scene. That was so much fun. But
you guys were awesome in that.
Every single, show, the chorus numbers were just so much fun. But talking about appreciating the new theater and all that stuff, one of the most fun times we had was with the orange chairs. You guys that were in this Gaskin holding two virgins over his shoulders. You remember that? But, it was when the new theater was being built, right? And we were over in the parking lot on that terrible lava rocks with the orange chairs. But we were doing Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, and that was just hilarious. We were making do with nothing. We didn't have the physical theater that we had now and all the fancy stuff, and it was just as much fun because it's about the people you're with.
That's 100%.
It didn't matter where we were.
It doesn't matter where you're at.
Fantastic.
It's not where you're at, it's who you're with. That's how I live my life. It's not where you're at, it's who you're with.
It really is.
Carla, my lovey.
Well, Tammy and I always tell this story about Pippin. Pippin was just awesome, as most of our memories are from Starlight. But we were down in the dressing room, and I can't remember her name. She had a pet monkey.
Kira.
Kira.
Right, guys?
Kira. That's right.
Yeah. She had a pet monkey was also in the show. So Tammy and I are down there, messing around with Kira and the pet monkey, and all of a sudden we hear the music for our number. And then this is a number you do with those, what are they called, Tammy? What are those
Well, it's
things?
like a stick with a screamer on it.
Stick
like
with streamers. And
Towards
she's coming on one side, I'm coming on the other. And we're supposed to be like the first one in the line on both sides. We're not there. We're the last one in the line. And we just go on and pretend we're where we're supposed to be and go on with the number. And I think we were lucky enough that Mike didn't even notice. Because when Mike noticed, you got a talking to. Let's just say it that way. I'll say you got a talking to. But yeah, that was the monkey and Kira and the ribbon dance.
That's amazing. What about you, Mr. Dr. O'Dierno? I'm going to start calling you Professor.
That's me.
Yes.
He's Professor.
Oh, back to you.
I'm the doctor.
He's the doctor.
I'm the doctor.
I'm just a professor. I missed bits due to some technical difficulties. Did you explain a doctor of what?
Parapsychology.
There we go. Thank you. Just covering that.
Yes, I only need my master's degree in psychology, and then I could be Peter Venkman.
God, I love that guy so much.
Mine goes all the way back to Fiddler on the Roof, and back when I played model, and I had the opportunity to sing opposite Kathy Webb, and just the whole cast. It was my first kind of being on that side of Starlight and getting to know everybody that first time is kind of I had done Starlight as a techie, but never on that end. And it's great to be able to just see all aspects, and it'll always be kind of a special show, especially because I broke blocking. Mike had me doing some wandering around the set for Wonder Miracles, and I went right up a ladder that was right in front of me, and I got off stage going, oh my God, Mike's going to kill me. But apparently I got saved because Kathy thought it was a better choice or something I had.
Well, Angela, I got to tell you, buddy, I know that you've chosen a career in tech, which is smart because you're working nonstop. But the one show, we did a show in the studio. Is a Shakespeare? We did something. And you're a fine actor, my friend. You're a fine actor. I'll never forget.
No, that's Eric.
No, Eric's. Well, we'll blow smoke up his butt in a minute.
Well, thank you.
Angelo, I was right, and I will never forget, and I've done this in every show I've ever done. And you were the one that you didn't even see me. You didn't even know I was doing it. But we're coming through the studio. You walk on stage, you stop, you pause, you take a deep breath, and you did this. And I do this every time before every show, and I always remember that. So.
Thanks. Yeah, little rituals before.
So it's all something. You got to just stop, take a moment, breathe. Whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter what you do. Just chill. All right, youngest, dang it.
Yes, the younger of the brothers, even though he's got all the hair. Yeah. No, actually, there was one person that, believe it or not, and I'm kind of stunned by this, we haven't mentioned her at all tonight, was Jody Beach.
She's a legend. Jody, I said her name earlier.
Maybe, yeah, I think, yeah.
Singing the trolley song. My favorite.
That's right, in the trolley song. Yep. But it was in that show that I was actually cast in my first romantic lead role, opposite of Jody.
Handsome son gun.
It was funny because here was Jody with her angelic voice, and then there was me who basically looked like Buddy Hackett, and but yet I was the romantic lead in the show. But it was one of those things in the moment. We actually had to share a stage kiss, which was odd because we've been friends for years, and of course I was seeing someone else at the time, and I'd never kissed anyone before because romantic lead.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So we do the kiss, and here's his rehearsal, apparently. And I'm only going by what people tell me. I still think they're exaggerating. But we go in and we do the kiss, and apparently Mike said cut like 4, 5, 6, 12 times. And neither of us apparently heard it.
Mike the matchmaker.
But I was like, what? Huh? What? Huh? You know. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. What a talent. And of course, she still does wonderful things there in
Oh,
Rockford
yeah, she's awesome.
as well. And my God, what a talent. It's hard to quantify it.
I
Eric,
remember that kiss. It was magical. I remember seeing like stars flying over the top of the head.
Eric,
Yeah.
only because like I said, I was gone for a while. Did you ever mention what made you come and audition at Starlight?
Oh, great question.
You mean 1776?
Yeah, and Jerry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Jerry Stevens?
Yeah.
Absolutely. He was John Adams, who, oddly enough, it was 10 years later, I actually got to be John Adams in a small, I mean, when I'm talking community production, this was a community production, not the Starlight production of 1776. This literally was a production that was, oh, hello, doggy. Who's that, Todd? This is literally the stage. You had the stage and then the audience, and behind the audience was a train track. And the train still ran on the track. So when the train was coming, you had to stop the performance. Everyone froze. And then when you got the cue, you kept going. I'm not kidding you.
I was like, did this camera just freeze on me?
Yeah, no.
Eric O'Dierno.
No.
You could be in the middle of cool, considerate men, and they're cool, considerate. Train go by.
Eric saw 1776 with Jerry the year before, and I swear he came back 4 or 5 any night he could get
it was
away
like
from
6
the
or 7
restaurant.
times.
He came back to watch Jerry, and why wouldn't you? It was just a wonderful, wonderful production.
Hey, O'Dierno boys, I want a 1-number answer, and that's all you have to say. How many siblings did your dad have? Or does your grandpa have?
Wait, you're trying to wait. Well, there's the 2 of us, and then
No.
my
How many?
dad.
Your
Oh,
dad or
wait,
your grandpa?
hang on.
That I knew?
That lived?
I knew 11.
That were actually born.
Oh, 20.
Oh, yeah, there's more, but
22?
those that survived were Uncle Andy, Aunt Mary, Aunt Josephine.
Angelo, I just need a number.
I would say 22.
I was hoping Eric would count.
Yeah, 22.
22. Wow. Anyway, that's a side note, folks.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris Brady, do we have any more guests, or are we wrapping up here? What are we doing here, Coach? With your beautiful mustache. No, it was another great moment I saw in Starlight was Bonzi doing Music Man.
Yes.
Yep.
And I was there with the Jeff Load and Bill Squire, and they were the ones that like talked me into coming to New York. Well, Angelo helped too. And but Bonzi, you were phenomenal in that.
Eric,
That's
did
the only
we do
good thing you've ever
cabaret
done.
Too? Did we do cabaret?
We did do cabaret. Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I was cast as the MC in cabaret with you in the studios. Yes, and you were there, Carla as well, and that was fantastic. And Kathy Stevens. Speaking of Jerry Stevens, Kathy Stevens. Again, the amount of talent that comes out of that proverbial small town of Rockford, it's ridiculous. It's off the charts.
Well,
I mean, it really is.
Just the
Brady
Broadway.
Brady wants me to come back in a year, whenever in the future, and direct Full Monty. I think you guys should all be a part of it.
Oh, guess what? Ed wants to audition for that. He said.
Ed does?
He'll bring no.
Literally told me, Cootsy, that, well, because I'm always telling, why don't you just try, or you could play drums, down in the place.
I have the perfect part for Ed.
I'm only going to audition if they do the Full Monty. So
he's in.
But
there
Joe,
you
better audition well, that's all I'm saying.
I'm begging you, Joe, if you're doing Full Monty, Mike Gaskin has to bring the glitter. Gaskin has to bring the glimmer.
Okay.
Eric.
Going off the rails, Eric.
Angelo, we're going to need you to come back for that one. That's a pretty circulating cue.
Brady, Angelo.
Yeah.
Chris Brady. Do we? What do we got here? Chris is taking a nap. Anyway,
So,
what else? What else? What's on my list?
Coots,
You guys,
I
yeah.
can't even.
What do you want, dude? What do you want,
You haven't
man?
Brought up the fact that my claim to fame
Wake up from your nap,
Carla.
Brady.
is my fantastic dancing in a chorus line.
Oh,
Yeah.
God
Bonzi,
damn.
the history of Starlight Theater, Rock Valley College Starlight Theater. Todd Bonzi goes down as the greatest dancer of all time. Wasn't
Absolutely
brilliant work of Tammy and Carla
I almost
or
quit that shit.
Pauline Urso or Troy Beard or any of those characters. Todd Bonzi.
Corey Crow.
Brad
Yep.
Kisner.
Yep.
Corey Crow.
Todd
Oh,
Bonzi.
you guys are so awesome. Todd Bonzi. Todd, what are you gonna come back to Starlight? Throwing you on the spot?
Am I going to come back?
Yeah, why don't you come back? Do a show.
If something interesting came along that I thought I would be good at and I could remember lines and words, sure.
All right. Brad Stutler.
Brad
our man.
Stutler.
Brad Stutler.
Brad Stutler.
Yes, he was in
Narrator
Vic.
extraordinaire.
Chris
Yeah.
Brady and I were talking about you today, Brad. We were talking about City of Angels. Oh, by the way, everybody, and we don't have to come anymore. I ran into Corky the other night.
How are you casting there?
How is he?
He's doing great.
The boss.
72, still practicing law. Still crazy as ever. He was talking about, I said, Corky, why you're late to every show? He goes, I'm a professional. I knew my lines. I'm like, Corky, professionals show up on time. That didn't register. Nothing. He gone. But he looks the same. He's still like the top DUI and divorce lawyer in town. And
Do you guys remember there were some shows like we didn't know if he was coming? Like he
No.
was that late.
Oh, I know.
Remember?
Yeah.
Like, what are we
Yeah, we
gonna
had-
do?
There were times in Jesus Christ Superstar that I'm going, okay, he's going to have to be him. I'm going to have to be
Yeah.
Herod. He's going to have to take over Pilate. I'm going to, yeah.
Hey, can we go? We'll talk real quick about oh gosh, you get emotional talking about our friend Boylan. Eric, tell us, yeah, I know. I
Vicky?
couldn't talk about it. Yeah, I could say the words if I had to,
Oh,
but you guys want to share
I
a
think-
quick?
yeah. One of my best. Vicky was
Vicky
was
Slager, everybody. I got my shit.
always
back together. Vicky
always
Slager.
able to make you laugh. Was such a positive energy source. And that day that Mike had her come in to do a face cast of her whole head for funny thing happened on the way to the forum because they had to have a statue of her bust. And
Yeah.
she was such a trooper putting up with the heat and everything else. Yeah, just an amazing lady. Amazing lady.
Yeah. Awesome.
It was,
What about you girls? Or Eric, you go? You got something?
it was, I actually got to work with her really close during Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
90,000 waters a gallon.
it was 93 or 94,000, I thought. But maybe 193. But
Depending on
the thing is with her, even though, yeah, we had the lines memorized, everything was that, but she was so extemporaneous. She could run with anything. And her and I, we had our pitter patter down. We had our, Abbott and Costello routine. Everything was great. But every now and then, some of the folks that we had a line to work with, God bless them, they might have thrown something out that wasn't what it was supposed to be. But she made that adjustment like that.
Yeah, she's
And
a
got
pro.
us right back on track. And I always called her the actor's actor. I mean,
Yeah.
she really was that linchpin that could
Yeah.
hold anything together. And God knows she'll be blessed. She'll be missed.
For a younger audience, before I get to Todd and Carla and Tammy, our younger audience, Vicky Slager, she was, a lot of you probably know, but she was the theater director of Boylan, but she was more importantly, not more importantly,
Yes.
that's wrong to say, but she was also a stalwart at Starlight. And she was out there every summer, and she raised her kids out there, just like Todd did, just like Tammy and Carla did, just like Steve Humphrey, all those families that we were talking earlier about community, which is so important to me. And I see all these I remember the Bonzis and Tammy, your little redheaded, cute little things, and Carla's kids, and the Humphreys, and Vicky did the same thing. And Hannah's still involved now, which I think is awesome. And I don't know if her son is involved. Maybe he is, and maybe I'm wrong. If I don't know, but she was, like Eric said, she was a consummate actress. She was just awesome, and she was the short little thing who was just a
5 foot
ball
of
of
dynamite.
energy. Brilliant, just brilliant. And I remember looking up to me when I decided to go to New York. She looked up to me and she would just put her hands on my face and she was like, "You're going to do great." And I will never forget those moments. And she, I just would be remiss if we didn't bring her up. And that was on my notes, and I had it down at the bottom of my notes. And I looked down and I'm like, then I had to stop and do this real quick. But Todd or Tammy or Carla, you guys have anything on Miss Slager?
Was Chicago the last show we did, Tam?
Chicago was the last show we did with Vicky, and you know the thing I think about Vicky is besides all the little snide things we would say under our breath all the time during shows, she was just the best listener. You know, don't you guys think? Like,
100%.
She was not always the most vocal one in the room, but she was just such a good listener, and she just was so compassionate, you know, and wasn't ever really thinking about herself. I feel like at that time, Carla, don't you feel like she had gotten really thin and stuff, and never a complaint out of her. She was always asking how everyone else was doing, you know, and it just she will always be a star out there. I mean, she is legendary. I mean, I don't think anyone will ever forget her.
No, she was awesome.
Yeah, and after she passed, and Hannah got very involved in choreography and also scenery. And she was doing the choreography for what show, Carla? Mary Poppins. She was doing the choreography for Mary Poppins, and we finished up the chimney sweep dance like the day before we opened. And sitting and watching her give notes and tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. And I just looked at her and I thought, you know, you learned very well from your mama. She learned so much, and you can see so much of Vicky in Hannah. It's wonderful. Yeah.
100%. 100%. Todd, do you have any memories of Vicky?
Yeah, Vicky was great. A lot of fun times and shows. And when we started Bonzi Productions, she was so helpful with being at Boylan and, you know, sharing costumes and sharing props for shows and anything you needed. It was always a yes, come on over and look at this, you know. She was such a great, great woman.
She was awesome. You know who else was a legend out there, too, and I think about daily, well, not daily, but a lot, is Ray Castle.
Right.
Ray was just, you know, anybody young watching, ask around to the people on the screen here, and if I'm in town a little bit longer, ask me about Ray. And Ray was just, Ray had a chance. Eric and Angelo, you might know more than me, but he had a chance to play at the Goodman Theater.
Yeah.
And it happened on D-Day.
Yep.
He was starring, was it a Shakespeare show or something? Or was it some show he was about to star in? And
I want to say it was Shakespeare. He was supposed to be one of the,
and he never.
I don't remember the production, but I want to say it was Shakespeare.
He brought a photo in during Hamlet.
Yeah.
He played one of the lead players. And during that production, one of the doctors came to him and said, "Hey, we have a way of injecting tungsten, I think, something into vocal cords to help bring them back." And it didn't stick, but there was about a week and a half where Ray had a voice of the leading man that we never had ever heard out of Ray, because we all know him in his later years. And it was just this gorgeous baritone. And he had all these photos of when he was an actor. A lot of it through Tennessee Valley Authority and the theater things that Roosevelt had put together. And I learned very quickly you never play a game of Scrabble with Ray.
Never.
Because he was a professional typesetter at the Gazette for years, and he could just take letters and go pop, 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 pop. And yeah, wonderful
Legend.
man. Wonderful.
Remember,
man.
he started off the song, River City. Remember, he had the first line in what show was that? Meet Me in St. Louis. Is it River City? Yeah.
Oh yeah, welcome to River City.
River City, and he was so quiet. Remember?
Well, guys, we'll go around the whole. Go ahead, Todd. Go ahead.
Annie, when we did Annie, and Sam was like 2.5 when she first started, and she was in diapers, and so all those kids would be on their beds before the show, and then Mike would come out and do his speech. Well, you know, his speech tended to be a little bit long, so she always ended up having to have her diaper changed. So I'd go out and take her off the bed, take her in the back, and then Ray would be back there, and he would always laugh at her because I always had to change her diaper. But he was always so kind. We shared the little dressing area back there, and he was always so kind and nice to her being so young. You know, he just thought it was great. So
that's so cute. All right, guys, I'm eager to run the horn. Eric, go ahead.
Am I correct in remembering? I thought I remembered them naming the studio theater after Ray, or is it the state?
They should.
Oh, no, where they do Shakespeare is called the Ray Castle Theater. Isn't that right? Who knows? Who knows? Tammy, where they do Shakespeare in the back, don't they call it the Ray Castle Memorial Theater? Yeah.
Ray will know. Yeah. Ray can tell us.
All right, I'm gonna go around the horn real quick. And it's a cheesy question, but there's another group that did this with Betsy Mayville and Jill and Mike Gaskin, and I forgot a few. Anyway, I love the question at the end. They go around, what does Starlight mean to them? And I like that question. So I'm going to go with, what's Starlight mean to you, Eric O'Dierno?
Family.
That's what Gaskin said. Yeah, you're right.
Took my words.
I got to go first.
There's no wrong answer. Yeah. Family.
I mean, I more than half of my life is directly attributed to Starlight Theater. So there were good times, there were bad times, but my God, what times! So I mean, the people I got to meet, the people I got to work with. I mean, wouldn't trade it for the world.
100%. That's awesome. All right, Todd, follow that up.
Great times, great theater, and family. Because my family, the kids grew up out there, literally on my back. Rehearsals. I can remember Samantha
on all
with
of our
pacifier during Children of Eden, fall asleep on my back. But so many families, all you guys, out there, and the kids that you have, we all grew up out there together, and it was not just a great time to do theater, but it was so much fun for all of our families to be out there and doing stuff together, and to be together and do those activities. So that means a lot to me.
It's awesome. Carla? Or Tammy, either one?
Well, it was a place for fun. We had a lot of fun. We had family, we had fun, and it's always easy to go back. We're here with you guys tonight, and I feel like there could be, 20 other people in our group, in our circle, and we would be having fun.
Oh, yeah. And we will do that very soon.
Bring it.
Tam?
I mean, I did Carla. I think family first, but then I think maybe timeless, because like she was saying, I was just thinking I could call any one of you up today, tomorrow, yesterday. I see Bonzi once in a while in a restaurants, and I saw Ange last year when Steve Humphries was here and stuff. But Eric and we, you keep in touch on Facebook. But I could call any one of you at any time, and it would be like no time has gone by at all.
Awesome. 100%.
So it really is timeless. It's a family that goes way back, and time doesn't seem to matter.
Awesome. Agreed. Angelo.
Wow. Eric pretty much covered the whole lifetime and family and education and all that stuff. Tammy makes a good point that, like last year, how honored to have a bunch of folks get together and say, hey, let's have because Andrew's back in town. I mean, where does that happen? It Doesn't.
Doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there've been highs, lows. Most of you have seen some of my lows. But wow, what a great group to work with and to be with.
Yeah. That's well said. It's, you look at it like, I'm looking at you, 5 faces, and that 5 faces represents a lot of faces, a lot of people that we came across with. And for me, I was an 18-year-old kid from Winnebago, love Winnebago. I could have been every night playing, and I didn't know where I was going to go. I got out of high school, and my ACT was low. Not that I just think I had no direction. I was just a crazy whatever. So I get there, and I found something I love, and I could have been working a job, playing softball every night, drinking beers with all my boys, but guys and girls and people like you saved me from that. So for me, it's a safe zone, and it was a foundation that built up to do what I could do now. And even if this pandemic makes me move to a different direction, I don't know what my life is going to go yet. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We'll get to that later. But if it wasn't for that family atmosphere and holding Rentschler's little baby on stage and, all that kind of stuff, that's just one of the bazillion stories. It goes a long way and resonates for me. And it's always going to be right in this little spot right here. And I wish anybody who's watching this or is going to watch this in the future, if you guys are young performers or Starlight people that are coming up or whatever you choose to do, remember that if you get yourself involved with something like this, that Chris Brady is doing a brilliant job, that Mike built up, that Ted Pacino and Jimmy, all the future, like the face I'm looking at now, the faces I'm looking at now, this is a lot of foundations that have built up to what this is. And don't ever lose grasp of that. Don't ever take it for granted, because there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into what Starlight is. Angelo can attest to it. And I just think everybody just take it for what it is. Take it for granted. Embrace it. Love it. And enjoy it, because, these years, they pass like that. And we see people like Vicky pass away and Ray, and we're all going to get there at some point. I mean, but the friendships last forever. And so anyway, I just love you all. I thank you all for doing this for us.
Love you too, Cootsy.
I think we should all do this more often, whether it's
yeah, but can we keep Brady out of it?
Yeah, who is Brady?
Then we can do cocktails and conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know who Brady is, but I would love to do, you know what I'd love to do, even if it's not broadcast to her. And Kathy, we want you in too, babe.
Yeah, Kathy.
Yes,
Kathy, you were
we'll set up a Zoom meeting.
That's what I'm thinking. Do a big Zoom, not from the massive 2 million fans that just watched us tonight.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so we can actually
do something like that. So let's just
actually do the R-rated version of what we were doing tonight.
Yeah, can we actually really say what's on it? Carm's in.
Carm's in.
Well,
there you
so
go.
Let's set it up. Right. Yeah. So let's just set it up one night, and we're going to do something fun. And hey guys, whoever's in the 815 area code, I'm here now for a bit. So let's get together. But love you all. Bonzi, love you so much. Eric, love you. Angelo, you're my brother. I think Carla left. Tammy's still there.
Yeah, Carla.
God bless you all. Starlight strong.
Thanks.
Keep it going. And stay in touch. Love you all.
See you, everybody.
Bye, guys.